I got it.
Just unmuted.
There's paper under you.
All right, y'all ready?
Yes.
Well,
Okay. All right. I'd like to call the Wednesday, April 7th, 2021 Town Council Work Session to order at 6:01 PM. Roll call of members. All members are present. Approval of the agenda. Is there approval of the agenda?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Yes?
second.
Okay. Self Sullivan? Aye. Allison?
Aye.
Avery?
Aye.
Diane?
Aye.
Aye. First up is discussion with Colonial Beach Volunteer Rescue Squad. And I know this is a little bit out of our normal order, but both the rescue squad and our attorneys for the closed session have other places to be tonight and had to be put in the top just so that we could accommodate their schedules. And so I apologize, normally those things would be lower on the list, but I wanted to let everybody know we were kind of accommodating multiple schedules. And the rescue squad is up first because they have a membership meeting at 7. So come on up.
Sorry, you have old man glasses on. First of all, I want to thank you all for having us and give us the time up here to speak. I really appreciate it. I had met with Mayor Schick and Councilman Pat I back in January 25th of this year. Patrick Simmons and Pat Fitzgerald were both with me at the time. Reason we asked them to come in was concerns we had about our building. We've had significant damage from severe flooding, in which Mayor Schick and also Pat I at the time come and also got to see the line of demarcations that we had with 3 foot of standing water was. Our biggest concerns is the building is in its condition right now is a high concern because more potential flooding is probably going to come this year with different storms. And it's going to result in severe equipment damage and more building damage now. We have a lot of brand new equipment in which I submitted grants for to where we have power stretchers now. We have all new CPR Lucas 3 devices. We're going to order new life packs. The building in its current condition did not allow us and has not allowed us for some time to have any type of fundraisers, such as the Colonial Beach Volunteer Fire Department and the Oak Grove Fire Department has been able to do. With that being said, what I mean is we cannot, in the current condition, with the way the building is in a flood zone, we cannot conduct any type of fundraising activities such as dinners to where we could have done something like a curbside dinner or any other type of fundraiser because the building just don't allow for it. It's in a flood zone. What else I want to bring up here? Then on March 12th, 2021, Mayor Schick, along with Councilman Tom McCurry, and it's a pleasure meeting you too, sir, also met with us. Mayor Schick advised there could be a possibility for getting assistance from the town and getting land in order for us to build a building. We would fundraise for the building costs if the town would help us find some land. Right now, we have 25 total active members right now, 7 advanced life support providers, 11 basic life support providers. We just got 3 more applications that have come in now that we're going to bring up tonight. But I'm sorry, it's been a long day. What we've had with what we're working with, it's almost impossible for us to conduct a new training. And training is the biggest fundamental. Without training, we're not given the greatest pre-hospital care that we can give. With the new building, that would help with that tremendously. And I also believe that it would gain a lot more applicants if we had a building to where we could house people. We have members now that would be willing to stay overnight to run these emergency calls for service for the citizens of the town of Colonial Beach. I mean, this building was founded in 1950. The original side of the building was built by hand by the founding members. I do not want to see this go. We're the only volunteer organization that's left in Westmoreland County. And I'm begging y'all and asking y'all to please keep our rescue squad in the town and keep the tradition that's been going on since 1950. So I'm asking for the town to please consider on helping us find a piece of property so that we can get more people and better serve the community of this town. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you, Joey. I want to introduce a little bit more about this topic, just for anybody to give a little background to it. It was identified in the 2009 comp plan that the rescue squad facility was located in the flood zone, that during large storm events, that was an issue, that a new space was needed, that the existing facility was not adequate, and all of that is in that comp plan on page 2-49. So this is a long-standing issue that we recognize, but I want to highlight that on top of that, it was further identified in that resilience action checklist, the RAFT program that we've been participating in, and identified as a high top priority to improve emergency service resilience, to create a strategy to establish a new squad unit facility to service the town of Colonial Beach, to relocate the existing facility outside of a flood risk area, and to improve the volunteer service squad response time in collaboration with the county. And there was a time period in which the county wasn't sure if they were gonna, I guess there was a concept that maybe the county was gonna provide an additional service up here. And we know now that's not going to be the case, that they are expanding the service and a growth instead. And it just even further than underscored the need when Pat, and I met with the rescue squad that first time, how vital our volunteer squad is to the community, how we're going to continue to be dependent on this, on the volunteer squad, and how we need to bolster it in any way possible. And so I think there was a strong commitment at that point. And then, strategic planning wise, across council to find location and find a solution to this identified need. A need that again has been identified for, 15 years. This is not a new problem, but it is a problem that has, needs a solution and sooner rather than later. And we have an additional issue that folded into it, is that as the Dotson project comes forward, we're going to have parking problems downtown. And we know that. And so I think the strategic option is kind of coming forward that is going to solve 2 problems at one time, in which we would like to help facilitate the rescue squad and meet the goals of our comp plan and of our resiliency action list, better service our community health services, and also provide for the new development coming. And I think we're thinking of it, and I don't want to speak out of turn, but we've talked across council that all of those are work can come together on this issue and how positive that can be. And so we are looking into this, and we're also looking into proposing the solution at 700 Colonial Avenue, where Public Works, the warehouse facility is. We would remove that building and then allocate the portion of that, that faces Colonial Avenue, a 50-foot road frontage portion that goes back the block to relocate the facility. And that has been the strategic solution proposed thus far. So this is the time to just kind of make that publicly known. We didn't really want to make any promises out until we felt like we could actually help, and I think it's coming together that this is something we really can find a solution on and move forward to. So I'm looking forward to continuing to work with the rescue squad, and I know Tom is as well.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you. Tom, was there anything else you wanted to add on that?
We put the rescue squad at 700 Colonial Avenue, gives them plenty of profile, puts them in a great location, and frees up a lot of parking for us.
There you go. That's it in a nutshell. Excellent. Okay. And then again, I apologize. We wouldn't normally go into closed meeting in the beginning, but our council has also other obligations today. So we are going to go into closed meeting, but it should be short. So for our audience, just so you know, this shouldn't take very long. Yes. Pursuant to Virginia Code 2.23711A7, consultation with legal counsel pertaining to pending litigation, where such consultation and open meeting would adversely affect the litigating posture of the public body in these pending cases. Is there a motion to go into closed meeting?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Bill Sullivan? Aye. Allison?
Aye.
Avery?
Aye.
Pat?
Aye.
Karen?
Aye.
And Chair votes aye.
Yeah, so, yeah.
Okay, is there a motion to reconvene an open meeting?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Oh, start this way. Duggan. Moncur. Robertson. South Sullivan.
Aye.
Allison.
Aye.
Gabriel.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Is there a motion to certify that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under the Virginia Freedom of Information Act and only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered in the meeting by council?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
I so certify.
I so certify. I so certify.
So certified.
So certify.
I so certify. And there's no action to take in they're already gone. Yeah, they're quick out of here, huh?
No good.
No goodbye, nothing. All right, I apologize for that interruption in the meeting. Next up is council member liaison and commission reports. Karen, I've been saving you for last all these times, so I'm gonna put you first this time, if that's okay.
Okay.
I will read fast because we have lots of good stuff going on.
We do, maybe do the highlights, because I read through the whole report, and if anybody wants a copy in the audience, or that's always something that can be emailed, so.
So there is one possible action item that we need to act on, and that's related to the Colonial Beach Downtown National Historic District. The Virginia Department of Historic Resources must set up a meeting. It's required by law. They will do it by Zoom, but it has to be held between May 10th and May 18th to meet the statutory deadlines. The council or the mayor or the town manager, someone needs to approve a date within that period. Joyce Reimer recommended the 12th to the 13th, as she had cleared it on the public calendar and said that there doesn't seem to be a lot of conflict with other community meetings here in Colonial Beach. They must advertise it 30 days in advance. That's why their window is so tight. And they have to notify every property owner within the proposed district and adjacent to the proposed district within those 30 days. So is that something that
Yeah,
we
you
could
want,
do without council?
I
Just,
just want to see, does anybody on council have objection to the 12th? Is everybody, if we had to call a special meeting for this on the 12th of May, would that
and
fit?
it actually is their meeting, they call it, we don't call it.
Oh, okay, but we all have to be there.
We don't have to be there.
Oh. Well, I guess from Joyce's email, it sounded like the town had to call the meeting.
No, that was made very clear when I had a phone discussion with her,
Okay,
that
good.
the state calls the meeting, and it cannot be combined with any of our other, it is actually a public hearing that they call
Okay.
at the state.
Well, the 12th works for me. Is there any conflict with the 12th?
Well, May,
May 12th. May 12th, not April, May.
School board meeting,
School board meeting is on the 12th. How about the 13th?
that should be okay. You have the thing. We
13th
don't
is
have
fine.
Thursday meetings, do we?
No?
And they wanted it seven, by the way, they wanted it 7 o'clock at night.
But I say you, I mean, everybody. No one meets on Thursdays. do
Okay. I don't, the planning commission does, but not until the fourth Thursday of the
Fourth.
month?
they? Yeah,
So, 13th?
yes.
There's
Okay.
consensus for the 13th.
Okay, thank you.
just a reminder.
There are quite a few, actually dozens and dozens of NGOs that are participating in the Alliance. And a lot of this report that I'm giving is collected by Susan Mack, who is collecting reports from the Alliance participants. So it is rather lengthy, but we have no problem in publishing this on the website rather than going into every little detail. There are some new members on the Alliance. Mike Fitzpatrick is representing the Chamber. Ted Tate is representing WWER. And Kitty Norris is now representing the Colonial Beach Library. And basically, they are continue to work on ways to encourage positive collaboration within the town, help with grant opportunities, and they're still working on approval of their vision, mission, and membership governance document. James Monroe's birthplace, Bucky Dorr, will also be joining the Alliance. And they are really excited. The birthplace is going to be on the trolley line again in 2021. The Memorial House has been completed and the Visitor Center and Memorial House will be open for general tours beginning in June. Private tours can be requested at this time and the park itself never closes. And they will be planning a grand opening and dedication late summer or early fall. The Chamber's Visitor's Guide is just about ready to hit the presses and should be ready for distribution late April. Bay Aging is going to allow us to continue to use the trolley, and they're changing the name apparently to the Osprey Express, and will begin its full schedule in July. The Chamber has filed applications for events, including the proposed new boat show event. They have filled the sign, the NGO sign that when you come into town, telling people what different organizations are here. They filled it with NGOs that are members of the Chamber. The Virginia Economic Development Association held a 2-day workshop, and Mike Fitzpatrick joined that organization, and he would be happy to provide a summary. The Economic Development Committee has been focusing on updating the incentive program language for bringing businesses and growing businesses in town, and have submitted that to council. And I'll let Robin talk any further about that. They also organized a Zoom meeting with VDOT and the Maryland Department of Transportation to update us, the members of the committee, on the Nice Middleton Bridge. And there is a link where you can keep up to date on that. The new bridge is on track to be completed in late 2022 or early 23, and the old bridge will be removed the following year, 2023 through 2024. They are expecting a 45% increase in volume by 2025, which represents a significant growth opportunity for Colonial Beach. They do caution us, there is a no-wake zone 1/2 nautical mile above and below the bridge. So please, if you're a boater, please obey that no-wake zone so that we do not damage the bridge as it's being built. Downtown Colonial Beach, I already talked about the one item that requires action by us. They hope to have a preservation-based streetscape design for downtown and Colonial Avenue very shortly. The forestry grant which they worked with the town to submit, has been awarded, and they are actively working on that. The virtual osprey is actually happening as we talk, and it's going great guns, and they've identified 33 nests, and of course, if you live here, you know the ospreys are going crazy. You can't step out your door without hearing them or seeing them. It's awesome. They've also been working with Kelly Vaughn at the Riverview Motel and Ann Wilson at Stratford Hall on a new initiative to promote overnight bus tours fall through spring on both weekdays and weekends as part of an increased effort to generate year-round traffic in the downtown of Colonial Beach. The Colonial Beach Community Foundation continues to support the food pantries with gift cards. They continue to work with the Economic Development Committee and the Chamber of Commerce on townwide Wi-Fi. They're developing a new residence program. They're planning their Northern Neck Beach Music Festival, which was a big hit 2 years ago and we really missed last year. They are planning to participate in the Beach to Beer Run. They're working on their internal processes, and they're working with Green Space on a grants program. Green Space is hosting the Earth Day cleanup, and you all have flyers on your seats when you came in today. That's going to be on April 17th from 8 to 12 with a rain date of April 24th. We're working with co-hosts, the foundation, BAM, and many of the members of the Alliance as the Alliance of Organizations. And the Humane Society asked me to tell you that our TNR program is alive and well. We have trapped, neutered, and returned hundreds of cats over the past 4 years, greatly reducing the feral cat program population in town. And if you have a cat that needs to be neutered or spayed, whether it's your own cat or a feral cat, the Humane Society is able to help, and you should contact Beth Searfoss. Thank you very much.
Okay, great. Mr. Allison?
So I attended my first meeting with Parks and Rec last night. We had our introductions along with Mr. Duke to basically introduce ourselves and kind of explain what our positions are, and also listen in on what the commission's doing.
Mr. Duke is our new Parks and Rec hire, and he couldn't be here tonight. We'll introduce him at the next meeting. Oh, and we met at Public Works today.
Yes.
Yes. So he's getting just thrown into all of it.
So yeah, I've dove in fairly quickly in a lot of these meetings and stuff, so I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure. And already resolving citizen issues too.
Yes.
Working on all of this. Okay. Gabriel?
First off, with the comprehensive plan, the planning commission did receive feedback from VDOT, comments on it. So that's good. And we have Kathleen has contacted the third agency. So we have 3 bids for the finalization of the plan. I won't get into names to put them out, but we do have 3 now. We'll have 3 that we're waiting on the third one to come back with their estimate of what it would cost. So I think we're moving on that. With the capital improvement plan, the commission reinstated the current community center upgrades that were on the previous one, which primarily is the external access to restrooms, handicap accessible, but the external access, so they didn't have to open up the community center. If we had outdoor events, people could still use the facilities without going into the community center. So that was a big piece there. And the intent is to hold a public hearing for the CIP on the 22nd of April that's the planning commission meeting. So a couple loose ends that need to be tied up with that is that Nathan Howell will be reaching out to Rob Murphy to try to phase out the stormwater management piece to get some ideas of if we phase it, what can we get better cost estimates so we don't just have a stormwater management to be determined on price. We know that there are certain elements we probably can fund out our cost out on that, and we think it's important that goes in the comprehensive plan as well. So we have a breakdown. So I'll make sure Nathan gets linked up with you, Rob, to finalize that. The last, one of the issues they had was that they would like to find out how they can get, the planning commission would like town email addresses or accounts, much like we have, just for the amount of work they do. I don't know if it's been told that we don't have enough accounts available, or it would be too expensive to go over the account numbers, but I mean, I can talk to Adam about it to find out what the costs are of that, but they would like to at least find some way to have some kind of a business address and email address for the planning commission members. No.
Sorry, you're just clearing your throat.
I'm so sorry.
Okay.
And then last one, not related to planning commission, but the update from today from the Guadalupe Clinic, the free clinic. They've administered over 1,500 vaccines.
Wow.
And about 950 of them are second doses, so. And I'd like to point out, there's at least 7 or 8 people in the room right now, especially in the audience, that have been instrumental in helping out, from everything from bringing them in to, checking their names off a list, to getting their forms, bringing them in, taking temperatures. I mean, you name it, the people out here in the audience, the town members are the ones that are making this clinic happen. And Three Rivers, talked to them on Tuesday. They are just very pleased with how the Guadalupe Free Clinic has been administering in a consistent manner the shots, not just at Colonial Beach, but we're getting residents from all over the Northern Neck that are coming in here for the vaccine. So we have great news for the Free Clinic and for the town, getting good press out there.
I did some video for their, they do a fundraising gala, so if anybody gets invited to help fund the Guadalupe Clinic, I really encourage you to do that. They have really been helping our community out in a large capacity, larger than they probably ever expected.
I don't think they ever expected they'd be doing this.
Yeah, I was happy to help in any way, and I've been bragging about you guys at the clinic, all of you guys at the clinic, so. All right, Mr. Duggan?
Yes. I'll take this off so you can hear me. I'm pleased tonight that there's an item on the agenda for the discussion of the town debt schedule and analysis. As we move forward as a town, I think it's important to know what our debt is and what some opportunities may be with the debt. There could be some loans that allow prepayment that we could consolidate with other loans and try to get a better interest rate. We need to know, we have a fairly hefty burden in just debt service now. So we need to see what our capacity is beyond that, and see how quickly we can start paying some of the debt down. So I think it's going to be an interesting discussion. And I think this is just the beginning as we go forward, try to address capital improvement needs.
Mr. Montier?
Complete aside on Karen's report on the volunteer at the Janesville birthplace. So if anybody wants access at any time, let me know, I can get you out there. On March 24th, I attended on behalf of council a ceremony at our police department where the American Red Cross presented their life-saving award to Officer Luke Gilliland. He was also awarded the police department's life-saving award. In August of last year, Officer Gilliland was responsible for saving the life of a woman drowning off Town Pier. When he arrived and saw the rescue efforts of others were unsuccessful, he removed his police equipment and dove into the river. The woman was panicked and struggling, but despite this difficulty, he made it to shore with her, saving her life. Most impressive, though, was that Officer Gilliland spoke with the humility of a true hero, saying simply that he was in the right place at the right time. We are all grateful. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
No, I didn't know anything about that.
Ms. Robertson?
The only thing that I have to report at this time, because the school board meeting is next week, Dr. Turner appreciates the budget meetings he's had with those of you who have had the chance to talk to him, and he feels your input has added great value to his budget development. So, thank you.
Okay. And I am gonna update on RAFT. We have a RAFT meeting tomorrow, actually. From the last month, I just want to highlight the fact that there are 5 checklist items that currently and this is the resiliency adaptation feasibility tool. So this is that resiliency group that we've been working with. The first is to address shoreline erosion, and there have been several sections within town that have shoreline erosion issues, and trying to identify engineering to go with them, and then also funding. And then the second is to update, upgrade, and fortify stormwater management, which includes creating directional flow mapping throughout town so that we know where drainage is going, or, and then can plan for where it actually needs to go. The third is resiliency in the comp plan, which they have reviewed and already gotten back. The fourth is creating a resiliency committee that then takes the work that over this year that we've been doing with the RAFT program, and then it creates a place for that to continue here in town. And fifth is a communication strategy to be developed for emergency and crisis communications. So those are some of the things RAFT is working on. But inside of that, there has been an opportunity to work with ODU Coastal GIS students, and Professor Tom Allen has an internship program that he is partnering with the town of Colonial Beach on, and to do some work with a hydrone through the Virginia Institute for Space and Flight and Autonomy. This includes mapping fine-scale watersheds using LiDAR, drone imagery, and applying various hydrocorrection techniques to ensure that drainage areas are characterized in practical methods, including like what is a vegetated swale with a ditch, what's a small depression. Anyway, some very fine-scale mapping. This drone imagery is state of the art and is really unique to be able to get this here in town. Amazing that it's also free. They are going to be mapping Monroe Bay, the creek, and also working on solutions at the North Beach. This afternoon, I met with Captain Copeland and also, oh my gosh, Mr. Hastings, I think, who is from the naval base and looking to fortify the beach area at the North Beach or Pebble Beach or whatever you want to call it, the area of Maryland, Virginia Avenue ends. We are looking at a partnership with them. There's no promises yet. This is still early in coordination, but we're also going to look to see if we don't get some support higher up from Virginia Health, State Health, and Congressman Whitman. So we're going to be looking for that. And then it's also this Tom Allen, his group at ODU, one of the things that they are looking forward to doing is called residential home first floor elevations. This is an FFE. If you haven't heard of this and you live in a flood zone, this is a data point that they mark your house with to show how much of your house is in the floodplain. It can help you qualify for huge rebates on your flood insurance. And they're gonna do this as part of the program. They've done this also in Newport News. They are mapped by the students using GPS, LiDAR, and laser rangefinders. It also helps the town earn CRS credits. I had a woman on Maryland Avenue that found out that she didn't have an FFE. She should have had an FFE because as soon as she got one, her annual flood insurance went from $4,400 a year to $700. So this includes some really good cost savings to homeowners in those areas. So that's RAFT, and ComRel, which is the naval base regional group I work with. We are hosting, the town of Colonial Beach is hosting the May meeting, and so we have presentations at that, and that will be held at high tides, and it will be the first in-person meeting they've had since COVID hit. So we're gonna hope all goes well there. And that's all I have on my liaison. We're still working on the economic development code ordinances. He just got that back to us, and he went on vacation, and we're gonna try to meet in between his vacations, and so hopefully we'll have that for our meeting. That's update on the economic development side. All right. Any other reports? We don't have any presentations today. Okay, citizen input. Mr. Steve Kennedy? And you are allowed 3 minutes per citizen, and I am strict about that.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I won't take 3 minutes. I'm speaking on behalf of CB Green Space this evening. You got the flyer, no excuse for not being there on the 17th and coming out and helping us pick up trash.
I already signed up.
You already said, and I was going to thank you for that before I walked away from the podium. Thank you for signing up. I saw your name today. And I just want to recognize a few people. Without them, this event would not be taking place. This lady sitting over in the corner, Karen Sullivan, Councilwoman Sullivan, if she hadn't helped me with doing this, the event would not be taking place, literally. She has been the backbone of this, along with John and Eileen Heath with BAM, Chris Guido, also with the foundation, Mr. Murphy, who has talked to him this evening, is going to help out. Sally Adams she did that flyer. And I'm telling you, she did a remarkable job. She also did the PSA for WWER that's running right now. And I'd like to recognize them for helping out. Once again, we're going to start at 8 o'clock in the morning to 12, short 4 hours. We're going to go from one end of the town to the other. You pick your side of the town where you want to go. We're going to have 3 spots at the high school, at the Buzz Coffee Shop, and this gentleman's house on Valsing Avenue. He's volunteered to let us set up there. So there's 3 places you can go to pick up your trash bag, your gloves, some drink, whatever you want, whatever you're going to need. We'll assign the task, we'll assign your areas. And look forward, hopefully it's going to be a great day. Rain day is on the 24th, the following Saturday. And I appreciate everybody's help and assistance, and I look forward to seeing your shiny faces out there on Saturday morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mr. Williams? David?
Good evening. My name is David Williams, live on 1535 Irving Avenue. And I just wanted to talk about the parks a little bit tonight. I haven't been up here in a little while. So first off, I just wanted to thank Mr. Murphy, Mr. Cavery, and Mr. Ellison for meeting with Colonial Beach Residents Association a couple weeks ago to discuss and go over the plans with Castlewood. I really appreciate your time. I want to thank Mayor Schick for drawing up those plans. We really appreciate you working with us and trying to make that a little bit of a greener area and more pleasing to the eyes. I'm not going to lie, I'm not excited about parking facility name being part of Castlewood, but I mean, you can only do what you can do. I did want to mention, I walked by there today and there were like 11 or 12 cars parked there without anybody in the park. Unfortunately, the food cart's drawing a lot of traffic to that area and it's kind of clogging up the parking, which we are in short supply of apparently. Also, I wanted to mention that I noticed there's a discussion of an easement grant. Ms. Sullivan mentioned it last night in the Parks and Rec meeting, and so I just wanted to ask a couple of questions about that. First off, who actually was involved in writing the plan, the easement grant? Nobody will answer.
Oh, I'll, after your citizen comment, we'll get back to you with everything.
Okay.
Yeah, I just don't want to start a back and forth.
Okay, I'd just like to know who wrote the plan, who worked on it, and see if, not the plan, but the easement grant, if it could be shared with the public. I've been to every single meeting since August and I haven't heard it discussed as a whole in the council, so I just was curious about that and what it actually meant for the citizens of the town that own that property. That's all I have, thank you.
Ms. Montalvo? Do I pronounce that correctly, Lisa? Montalvo.
Dr. Montalvo, to be exact.
Dr. Montalvo.
Perfect. So we are very concerned about the grant that was put forward. I would really want to know how the current plan for Castlewood relates to the grant application, how the two sites come together. Also, when who worked on that application, and all the parties that were involved in completing that application. I think that has to be public knowledge. I also want to know under which authority that was submitted, and if it was submitted by an organization by itself. I think the public should know. The next thing I would really like to know is, as we move forward, if the town is going to vote, we would like to have a closed session with the lawyers.
Ms. Williams.
Paige Williams, 1535 Irving Avenue. And basically don't have anything written down to say, but I just want to ask when, after the Castlewood meeting, when things are going to move forward. There were certain things discussed with Rob Murphy that he was going to get back to us on. So I was wondering if he could reach out to us and talk to us about what's going to happen and what's not going to happen, so we're not in the dark. Thank you.
Ms. Mack.
Hi, Susan Mack, 1541 Irving Avenue. First, I want to mention on behalf of the Alliance that we put out an email, a Facebook post about getting more volunteers for the town. And we have 150 volunteers on our Colonial Beach volunteer brigade already. And I've already gotten another at least dozen people signing up. So it's an amazing town with amazing people, and that's what makes the town keep going. And the only other thing is happy to provide, in fact, I thought when we started doing the reports, the group reports, the organizational reports, that document was going to be available in written form for the town council meetings. And if you need to make it briefer tonight, I would really like to have that available so it's public knowledge, whether it's on the website or hard copies. That's all. Thank you.
All right, I don't have anybody else for citizen input. Oh, yes, Ms. Lee.
Hi, Maggie Lane, 102 Forest Avenue. I thought this was gonna be brought up, I guess, during the council liaison, but, Palm Trees sponsorship program that we are doing, we have, we have all the sponsors that we need. So the town is at no cost paying for this, palm trees.
Thank you. Yes, it reminded me to announce that. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, and then also since it was brought up, I would like to just be made aware of who is filling out the easement grant, since I'm supposed to be the person that's working on grants for the town, and who signed off on it. So if you could just let me know. Thank you.
Next up is there anybody else for citizen input? No. Okay. Old business, resolution 15-21, authorization for jet truck. Ms. Murphy, you wanna, or, I'm sorry, Vivian?
Yes, at whatever point, I was just gonna recommend at whatever point you're ready to make a motion to set the public hearing for your April 21st meeting.
Rob, would you like to walk us into this?
Yeah, this is actually part of the procurement. We had to take it to public meeting, so prior to actually doing this, from what I understand.
Yeah, it's a loan transaction, so it's technically considered a bond in Virginia, which requires a public hearing. So again, to my initial point, which is just, in the way of action for tonight, it would just be to set the public hearing and then to wrap it up at your April 21st meeting.
Okay.
So we should anticipate it being, voted upon, and the amendment being, the same amendment being taken care of on the 21st meeting.
Okay.
Is that correct, Deja?
The 21st, and it's already been sent to Freelance Star for advertisement for the public hearing.
Okay, so do I have a motion to take this to a public hearing?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion? Okay. Mr. Duggan? Yes. Mr. Ronquillo? Ms. Robertson?
Aye.
Mr. Baldwin?
Aye.
Aye.
Any further discussion on that? Yes.
I do have one technical question. I'm looking at the loan resolution agreement, which references no interest rate, and then I'm looking at the debt schedule we got handed, and that shows an interest rate of 4.25%. I'm wondering why on earth the agreement doesn't reference that amount. And that's an open-ended, just academic curiosity question.
That's it's 2.125. That's the 4.25 is probably the previous jet truck, the old one.
That's the one.
Okay, so that interest rate's incorrect on this sheet. Then.
Well, if you can see on the side in the comments, it says that there is a question of whether we're paying them off in 21, because we haven't quite got to that yet.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah, okay.
All right. Next up is parking plan.
On the parking plan, the pads have been poured throughout town. I think most of you know that. The installation and the testing of the protocols is planned between now and the end of the month. We're hoping sooner rather than later, depending upon when the companies can come in. The integration between the two softwares will be tested at the same time. We've investigated as far as making sure that we are able to adjust rates or eliminate rates in zones as necessary for, say, business areas where there's a dedicated parking for the business only. So now that has been investigated, and we are looking here through the different options, whether that be validation codes that are put in, or so there will be options as far as adjustment of pricing by zone in zones throughout.
And there was a code or no code? I'm sorry.
There are actually different ways of doing it, and we're working between the two software vendors right now to identify the best. And then we'll also probably be talking with some of the business owners that are involved. You have code usage that would be tracked can be allotted to the business, and related to moving it out of the pricing structure or the ticketing structure. There are also a few other ways of doing it as far as the different modifications. One's called parking validations, which would be validated by the business owner. Others are actually just pulling that area out of the ticketing zone.
Can I use some input on this? Because I know you sent an email, or the back and forth with the chamber too.
Yeah, one member of the chamber and a business owner in town had approached me was hoping that there would be some way that more stakeholders could have input on the final decisions made on how what zones, what pricing, that sort of thing. And, the chamber had offered, if the council wanted them to host some sort of a town hall and try to get more stakeholders to come, and just so that we could hear everybody's voices before the final plan, pricing plan and was put in place.
When are we trying to implement the kiosk?
By the first of the month of May.
So, it's on the work session in order to have some discussion now, and it can be on the next council meeting also, if that's, rather than planning an alternative meeting.
I invited people to come and speak today at citizen input related to it, and nobody that signed up was discussing that, so, I'm not sure how we should move forward.
Okay. And the citizen that did reach out about wanting more stakeholders, she was a citizen that was included in the parking discussion.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we did have one parking discussion.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, and
I'm kind of curious about that too.
I included both, I had two, business owners in the district reach out to me about parking concerns, and so immediately invited them to be a part of the discussion, and both were there, and it was very, very helpful. It was great, and I felt like we had a better understanding of what the needs were in the area from that, and especially the ones that had concerns. We've reached out to the chamber before on trying to get the chamber to help facilitate some further communication with the businesses, and it's just been crickets. So,
Well, maybe if I just send a message back through the Economic Development Committee that says if, we're not gonna do a town hall, but if they want to host something, we will gladly show up
sure.
and answer questions and hear input with that, and if they could do that rather quickly.
Yeah, we need to be soon.
Yeah, I mean, I'd suggest that they reach out and contact probably the town manager's office at this time.
So the
Schedule
town
a little late in the game
manager,
here.
the mayor, and maybe another council member would be there to listen to them. You know.
Sure. I am there on Fridays. So
Mhm.
if they wanna, do something, this Friday, I'm already booked.
Yeah.
Meeting from 9, 10, 11, I have another at 2, 3.
But I felt strongly I needed to bring it to council, and like I said, I was hoping that they would be here tonight.
Can we get an outline, maybe, start to get on paper how the parking fee structure is? Which lots, how much they are, how you can pay for them. Let's just start to get that program.
They're all the same as last year. really.
Okay.
So, but yes, we'll put that together for you.
Maybe like an
Again.
informational flyer too, and also that, because when those meters go in and get programmed on the first, we're gonna have that, historic district meeting in May, I guess the 13th now maybe, and every property owner in this district is gonna be at or contacted to come to that meeting. So if there is some information to distribute about this area, that's the place to do it, don't you think?
And
Maybe not a
I
place
think,
to have, I don't wanna take
no,
over the state's
it can't be
meeting.
combined with the state meeting. I mean, that's
No.
a statutory public hearing. But, I mean, I think some of the other stakeholders in town are the property owners, and we know that our beach traffic is gonna be incredible again this year. And, is there any way to have residents-only parking on some of those side streets? And is there a way where beachgoers can't fill up the parking in front of the businesses? I think those are the kinds of things that they have most concerns about. And it's not just the businesses, but the homeowners too. But they've got to come, they've got to tell us, we've provide an opportunity for them to tell us
Well, those things were all brought up in that discussion.
Yeah, that was brought up, so we need to, if
The
they have
fees for
interest in the
parking-
discussions, I would suggest that they contact our office.
We specifically looked at the fees for parking in this area here. That would be, if somebody wants to go to the beach for the day and park in front of somebody's business, it would be extremely costly for them to do something like that in the downtown business area. So that those things were discussed to mitigate those kind of problems. That, you know, it would be established for people that are coming here to have dinner, to maybe hit a shop or two, grab ice cream after dinner. And it's conducive to that. But if you were looking to park out in front here for the day at the beach and unload all your coolers and everything, it's going to be very expensive to do that. So
We also want to facilitate that dinner time crowd of walking downtown area, and so we've talked about hours of enforcement, and so that's the next step, I think, is to bring the police department into the enforcement aspect of the parking, because that, when we met, it was also about strategic planning, how are we gonna really, we know that the parking is becoming a higher and higher demand. How are we gonna ultimately solve the problem? Not just rate setting, but then also getting into, the business aspect of it. But I think the next step is the police department, is the enforcement aspect. What's gonna be enforced and how's it gonna be enforced? Getting that outlined too. And if it's gonna be how it's been, or if it's gonna be different than how it's been.
Yeah, and that's what I was mentioning, is the integration of the softwares. We have we're working with both software companies, so that we can make sure that we have a robust means of making modifications after we go as necessary. If we have to tweak the system, for now, it'll be, initially, I see it being basically the same as what it was. However, we anticipate that with along Washington Avenue, where the additional in the business is there, that there will be sectionized places that are able to be dropped from the requirement, but we need to lock them in so that it is just for the business only, so that you don't
Right.
have.
Yeah, like
So
we
that's-
talked about 15-minute parking in front of Nancy's, so people could pull up and get ice cream, and we didn't want beachgoers parking in front of Nancy's all day and taking their only way of business from them.
Correct.
And there's an unloading and loading spot that everybody uses in front of the daycare center to pick up their kids and drop their kids off. And I know that's what everybody that pulls up there is to drop their kid off and pick their kid up. And we do need to reserve some of these places for these businesses to operate. So we were looking at specifically, and the other, piece that came up was lodging facilities that don't have their own parking lot. Like obviously, and I always confuse them, and I'm so sorry, River's Edge is the one with the parking lot.
Right.
So they don't have that need, but the other lodging facilities downtown need a handicap space, and they needed to let the loading and unloading zone, people get their suitcases out. It's okay if they get the park maybe a little bit further away, but they need to be able to get their stuff out of the car.
Yeah, and we talked there about a loading and unloading zone.
The other comment that came from a different person was the end of Colonial Avenue. And the fact that people are parking illegally down there. Are meters planned to go in there, or is it planned to be a yellow curb at part of that so that there's no parking? And people end up there at that dead end street. There's no place to turn around. And because of the way the blinking, the lighted sign is in town, it tends to maybe draw them down that street instead of taking a right. So they end up down there and having to turn around, and, could there be at least some sort of a sign that says, dead end, no beach access, or something that would help curb that, was the
We
other
need to put
comment.
a dead end sign right on Colonial Avenue, but I understand.
Well,
what you're
there's
saying.
there's no outlet. There's no outlet from, and you get in there, there's no other place to go. So that I forgot to say that earlier, but that was another citizen that had contacted me.
I had two other people actually ask if we could move that VDOT sign to further up, maybe back to the 700 Colonial Avenue area. because it blocks the sidewalk down there. Yeah. So I would have anybody who has further parking concerns and reach out and try, I mean, I feel like we've been trying to solicit more feedback on this and,
Yeah.
for a while.
And by all means, call.
Yeah,
I think that's probably the best way now. I mean, we've had meetings. If you're hearing from the chamber and representatives of the chamber, they can certainly call, we can certainly discuss what's going on. Right now, it is going back in there, we're going to, we try to restrict parking on on Washington Avenue. Okay, so that it isn't as big of a congested area. I agree that there was a meter planned, and there is a meter planned along Colonial Avenue at the end. And yes, we can certainly put signage up there. As far as enforcing a no parking in there, I don't know. We'll have to talk about that.
no, I think and the spots are delineated, people can park in the spots that are there. Yeah, they're expected to pay for it, that's gonna be paid.
Mhm.
I think they're parking at the very end, and they're also blocking.
Well, yeah, certainly that can be a restriction. If that's their concern, I think they're.
I think it is painted, right?
Mhm.
I think it is.
I believe it is yellow curve there.
And well, one of the other things we talked about too is there are a couple blocks that don't have the lines yet on the exact spaces, the sizing of spaces. And that's been very helpful along Washington Avenue.
Mhm.
And so we were gonna mark it out the couple other blocks that there were to do that with.
We'll look at that. Did they say where it was?
I think North Irving was and Hawthorne. And is it, I think it starts with a T that goes this way, yeah. No. What's the road that backs up to High Tides? Taylor.
Taylor Street.
Taylor, thank you, whoever said it out there. Taylor Street. I can't remember them all. All right,
We'll take Taylor's regulator. Okay.
yeah, it may already be.
All right, any other concerns by all means? Pass them on. This, we start having meetings about this thing, but we're getting close to the busy season, and we certainly want to at least have our minimal things up in operation.
But, I mean, basically, what you're going to implement, the 1st of May is not written in stone. It can be adjusted, right? If it's,
Yes, I don't see us changing anything in relation to the big lots that we have. And the parking along Irving that's been there all along, and the parking at Beach Terrace.
Agree.
Okay, so those are key areas, and the Castlewood. Now then, of course, we're adding in. So yes, those aren't gonna be in stone. We wanna be able to even adjust them once, they're installed too. As we have discussions, if we see hiccups in the area, and have input.
And I'd like to remind people that if you have a town sticker, you do not have to pay for parking in town.
Correct.
And also, if you are a resident in town and your vehicle is registered in town, your town sticker is $35. Yes, $30. I just paid them too, so you think I'd remember. $30. If you own property in town, but you are a weekender, you can also get a town sticker because of your real estate taxes. for $100.
$100 for the whole year.
Start paying us personal property tax and your sticker will go down.
Oh, the person
Yeah.
the tax.
So,
We are going to pay by plate.
yes, your
Yeah.
sticker is associated with your license plate. The sticker you bought covers the vehicle you bought it for. You cannot stick that sticker on somebody else's car and expect they will not get a ticket. Yeah. Okay, this is exciting. Yeah. So much fun, parking. All right, anything else on parking? Seeing none, moving on. We do have exciting news though today. We should all get excited because the next order of business is the authorization of the new town manager contract. Yay! All right, come on. All right. Margaret, will you come up and Miss Adams Jacobs, will you please come up? I've been looking forward to this all day. We have the contract in front of us. I would love to welcome to the community Mrs. India Adams Jacobs as the recipient card, yes, of our new town manager contract. I am, and also thank the Berkeley Group for the assistance that they gave the town in helping us find such an amazing candidate and such a qualified person for the job. I'm very excited about this. Ms. Adams Jacobs was assistant city manager to the city of Petersburg and helped them get through some pretty tough things, including improving their CAFR process, a lot of financial stuff. So Lisa, you'll look forward to that part of it. She was audit manager and she upgraded their bond rating. She also worked on the Petersburg Park and Ride project, which is an $8 million parking garage funded by VDOT. She led the city's first strategic planning process in nearly a decade. She managed their CARES Act funding, which was $5.4 million, a lot more than we got, but still. And also led a small business grant program. She, prior to that, worked in the city of Delray Beach, Florida, which is also a beach town like Colonial Beach. We can think of ourselves as Delray of Virginia. I don't know what to think. No, I haven't been to Delray, so I don't know. All right, Office of Strategy. She worked in the Office of Strategy, Innovation, Budget, and Performance. She's worked in media and communications. She is ICMA of every kind of ICMA thing that there could possibly be. She was a fellow through the local government management program. She has a master's in public administration. She has the graduate certificate from local government from Virginia Tech. She is FEMA emergency management certified as well, along with project management certification. She is top 40 under 40 from George Mason. She is a Rising Star Award recipient and an ICMA Emerging Local Government Leader. Ms. India Adams Jacobs.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for the warm welcome. And thank you to council for investing your faith in me. I am incredibly honored and humbled to be able to serve this great town moving forward. Excited to get to work with our residents as well as the great staff here, and excited to get to work with you all on April 26th. Thank you.
And Margaret?
It's been the Berkeley Group's pleasure to work with you. Undoubtedly, this is the best council that I've had the privilege of working with. I appreciate your diligence and your insight, and we're confident that you have a really great candidate as well.
Thank you so much. So, upon that, do I have a motion to authorize the new town manager contract?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? No? Okay, Mr. Duggan? Mr. Moncur?
Aye.
And Ms. Robertson?
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Sullivan?
Aye.
Oh, yeah, Mr. Allison?
Aye.
Mr. Cavey?
Aye.
And the mayor votes aye. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm gonna sign it right now. I'm so excited. I can't even stand it. So, let's can we do a photo? Should I put my face mask back on? Probably. Do you wanna have this with us? Or? Which way? Which direction? With the council behind us? I don't know. I'm just presenting. Or do you wanna like pretend like we're signing on it? I don't know. I'm smiling under the statement. Yeah, you do need to sign it. Also, we think we're gonna get two, hand signatures. We're gonna get two physical copies, that way you can do one. Yes, your name's on it. You gotta sign it. Forget all that. And then Heather's part. Oh, I gotta do this? Yeah. We are indeed very excited.
I'm very excited as well.
Good. And I meant that about the fishing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Ready to go fishing right now.
Okay. Excellent. Yeah, one for us, one for us. Okay. Hello. Council, I'd like to give you each an opportunity to onboard and welcome our new town manager. If you'd like.
I'm really excited for the opportunity to work with you. Your accomplishments and your background and your enthusiasm and the preparation that you did were outstanding when you came to do your interview with us. And I have just been grinning from ear to ear, trying not to say anything to anybody for days.
Congratulations. I'll just keep it simple.
And congratulations. I think you're going to be one of the most terrific adds to this town that we could have ever hoped for, and really look forward to working with you.
Same here. We were really blown away by your presentation and your preparation for the interview and your knowledge and your ability to work with people.
The one question that I did not ask you in the interview, which was inappropriate, was when you graduated from George Mason University. And the reason I mention that is I was university counsel there for 12 years. I never saw or heard anything of India, which is good, because the only students I dealt with were miscreants.
Congratulations. We are so happy to have you here. We're all available for you whenever you need anything. Just call us up and we'll be there. Welcome.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll be able to keep up with you. That's my hope. And I just thank you for coming tonight and to get a very first introduction. We'll see you in 2 weeks when you start. And thank you so much. I'm really looking forward to working together. All right, moving on. Well, nothing else in our agenda is going to be that exciting. So next is draft ordinance number 713, amendment chapter 2, article 6, Colonial Beach Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission. I think this is an issue that may have kind of settled itself. Kenny, you want to highlight this?
Sure. During the Parks and Rec meeting that we had, there was a resignation from the commission. And I'll butcher her last name and I apologize. So I'm going to say Melinda. But she submitted her resignation for that position, which now brings us back to the original amendment for the commission itself to be 5 members instead of 7.
Okay, so can I have, we've already had 2 people to apply for this and be recommended by the commission. What I'd like to do is have a motion to not amend their bylaws, leave it at 5 members.
Yeah, so there were other issues within the bylaws itself, that some verbiage change as well as some deletions for the actual information. So they had planned to go back, redraft, and take out some of the information that was listed. I'm not sure which one you're looking at, but the one I had is, it's laid out in green is what they're gonna delete.
There's one in the packet.
I don't have that one.
One in your packet, isn't that?
So the one in the packet is the code. There are bylaws they're still working on to present to us. What's in the packet is what is in the actual code of ordinances. So they just want to change where it says secretary to have it as clerk, just like how the planning commission has the clerk as the zoning administrator. They want to have the clerk be the director of Parks and Rec, an employee.
Like the way the planning commission is.
Yeah, so would be responsible for taking the minutes and keeping the records of the meetings.
Okay. So then when it says,
So the membership remains the same, and the draft you have in the packet, it was not changed to a different number of members.
well, how come it went from 3 to 2 officers? Should stay 3. They want a 5-person commission.
2 officers, the chair and the vice chair, and the clerk is not an
Oh.
officer because they're not part of the.
I see, that the secretary is not an officer. Okay. Okay, well, I don't have any problem with that. I guess I didn't understand that was part of it. All right. So what do you want to do? Do you want to, in order to change this, we have to have a public hearing next regular meeting. So we do want to change the town code to establish the clerk as the Parks and Rec director.
What if Parks and Rec grows to the point where you have the director and they have a person that works for them? Because go back to the planning commission model, it was the planning and zoning administrator and Kathleen as a employee of that person or a subordinate of that person became the clerk of that. So it wasn't necessarily the lead of the organization. So I think leaving it as an employee of Parks and Rec, it currently could reside with the director, but it would allow it to facilitate it moving to somebody else if they become an employee later time. It could delegate to another person in the Parks and Rec department. So I don't think specifying the director of Parks and Recreation would be that person. There are ways to
It doesn't
generalize
say director.
I left it open to be an employee of the Department of Parks and Recreation.
And the chair appoints the person as the clerk, or the chair appoints the Parks and Rec. It leaves it a little bit confusing there that it's, the chair of the Parks and Rec Commission appoints the clerk. Is that
Doesn't say that, does it?
I took it
As appointed by the chair.
So, yeah,
I
the
took it
chair,
exactly how it was how it's outlined in the planning commission bylaws.
in the planning commission, the reason why it's appointed by the chair is so that it can be any employee within planning and zoning. And then the chair says, okay, well, now it was, because it was Brendan for a long time, but then it was Kelly, but then Kelly was the director, and it was so that they could appoint any employee within that structure. And it just has to get clarified each year as to who the person is. That's what the appointment
Okay.
word means. I think that's at least how it functions at the planning commission level. I'm not sure. I think that's the intent here. If there were multiple employees, then which one, and the chair would then appoint which one. It's always worked out, though. I mean, generally, you know ahead of time who's gonna serve as the clerk. Because it's a part of that person's duties as a staff person. Okay. So this leaves it as a 5-member. All right. I'm good with establishing the public hearing for this then. Do I have a motion to establish that public hearing?
So moved.
I have a second?
Second.
Is there any further discussion on establishing the public hearing for these changes? No. Mr. Sullivan? Mr. Allison?
Aye.
Avery?
Aye.
Duggan?
Aye.
Ronquier?
Aye.
Robertson? Okay, I vote aye also. And as far as the appointments, that we had been in our agenda before, now that we have the vacancy, would we like to appoint, the 2 prior, recommendations? Yes? Okay, you wanna make that motion? Like to make a motion to appoint
I'd like to make a motion to appoint the 2 individuals, Eileen Heath
And Philip Eschmacher.
and Philip Eschmacher.
Eschmacher,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
to the Parks and
To the
Rec.
Parks and Rec Commission.
Good job.
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
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 And aye.
And I vote aye. Excellent. Yay, welcome, Eileen. Sorry it took so long. You have to tell Philip. Somebody let Philip know. Good. Well, I'm glad to get this all rolling. We were waiting for, just so people understand, a lot of these pieces were just kind of coming together. We needed the Parks and Rec Department hire to come in. Then the commission was supportive of that, and all the pieces are starting to fall into place to actually get somewhere. And then our new town manager. So with that major piece in, now hopefully Rob can breathe again, maybe.
Take a day off.
Maybe take a day off, yeah.
Breath of fresh air.
All right. Any other discussion on that then? No? It's hard to read your faces with these face masks on. I'm sorry, I can't tell if you're smiling, if you're crying behind that thing. I don't know what's going on.
I just want to thank everybody that's been involved with the development of the Parks and Rec, going all the way back to Pat I and the previous council. This has been a long time coming. Everybody that's involved is so enthusiastic and so experienced, and it's just going to mean a lot of improvement in our recreational activities, from our babies to our elderly, at the different facilities that we have around town.
Excellent. Yes, I would also very appreciative of all the people that have helped get it this far. All right, discussion of the downtown debt schedule and analysis. Man, these meetings keep getting more fun.
Okay, so I distributed this afternoon, a copy of the fiscal 21-22 debt schedule. So you can see what our upcoming payments are going to be this next fiscal year. If you'll see, there's interest rates on there, how much debt was for originally, how many more years we have. You've asked for some other information, and I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of timeline when I can help provide that. So just so you know, next week and probably up until our meeting on the 21st, I will be working closely with the auditors to wrap up fiscal 20 audit. So there's a lot of work that still needs to be done once they give me the draft before he comes in here and does his presentation. If you have anything that you want him to highlight or discuss, please let me know so I can let him know so he can be prepared. So that being said, after the 21st, I'll be able to put some effort into some of the other items that you requested for the debt schedule. And I'm shooting to have something for you for the next work session.
Val?
And thank you, Lisa. This is real helpful to see the interest rates and see when the payments are finally due. So I think this will help us move forward. Appreciate all the effort that went into this.
And I'll be reaching out to some of the, like Davenport has helped us with, refinancing and doing an analysis before in the past. VRA, even the USDA, kind of see what our options are. So I'll have a lot more of that information for you by the next work session.
Yes.
Davenport will also, if you're interested, will do a community analysis and like a debt analysis and how you relate to your peers in the state and that sort of thing. They'll do all of that for free. It sort of helps you sometimes get an idea of your picture, your debt position, and your financial situation. They'll do all of that and bring your presentation free.
Is Davenport who does the financial analysis reports across the state that I've read? Okay.
They actually have sent us a little presentation that they wanted to discuss with me and Rob. We just not, due to other items that have had our priority, we haven't been able to sit down with them, but I'm trying to work a date that all three of us can sit down to go over the little analysis they did send us.
Yeah, I read through the analysis because it's online. You can read, you can get it. But there's like 10 categories or 12 or 14, I forget. It's a lot of categories that they rate you in different aspects of. And I would really need them to explain exactly what all of those mean because it's not each category is the same rating style.
Yeah.
Some are percentages, some are decimal points, some are like, and so then you're at the back trying to like understand what that one is. And overall, we were in good standing, so that did infer that. But to have like a detailed analysis of it, I would definitely need some guidance.
I used to get them every 2 to 4 years to come
Do a presentation?
Well, to do a presentation, but before they come to do the presentation, they really dive into your debt. And then they, like I said, they give you an idea of how you look with your debt and your cash analysis relative to peers around the Commonwealth. You know, how you rate and how you look relative to, if you don't have a bond rating, which most small localities don't, still how you stack up against folks who do have bond ratings. So you kind of gives you an idea of sort of where you fall in that. Just all sorts of analyses. I just always found it very helpful, but again, that's just the service they provide.
And you also mentioned the word free.
Yes.
Free, and free.
Right, exactly. That's what I would get.
Oh, our new town manager has her hand up.
Just wanted to add that Davenport's also giving guidance to localities on the new American Relief Funds and how you can look to spend those and prioritize that funding because it's a bit ambiguous right now.
Okay. Good. All right.
That's just.
In about 40 days, about 45 days, they're giving that guidance.
Okay. Well, it sounds like we're gonna get Davenport in here then. That sounds like that's what. How does that sound good to you?
Yeah, sounds great.
Sounds good to you? Okay. Is there any further discussion on this? I know we're still working on analysis. The main thing was to get the debt schedule out there and start to have that. In the meantime, it is budget season and the audit is coming out, so it's a lot of finance happening right now. All right. Any other questions on that? No? Seeing none, we do have to go back into closed meeting Yes,
I believe we have the option of inviting staff into our closed meetings. I would like to suggest that our new town manager sit in on this discussion so she can get up to speed on what we're dealing with.
fine with me. Is there any objection to that? We can invite even citizens into closed meetings if necessary. It doesn't really matter. Right. Yes, they have to be pertinent to it. Any objection to that? No objection? Are you sticking around then? All right.
The husband's already left.
I know, he's gone, he's fishing.
Okay.
Night fishing is a better time to catch something, actually. So, okay. All right, pursuant to Virginia code. They said if you don't have fun in this, then it's not worth it. So I just want to make sure that we all understand that. Okay. Pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711A, for consultation with legal counsel employed regarding specific matters requiring legal advice from counsel for development and real estate agreement contract analysis, nothing in the subdivision shall be construed to permit the closure of a meeting merely because an attorney representing the public body is in attendance or is consulted on a matter. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And aye. All right. We'll go back into closed session. There isn't anything else left on the agenda, so if you're waiting around, you won't see any action. I think I mean, you can wait if you want, but